All right, friends. That was a tough day. That was hard Zoom.
Yeah, but nothing for the public defenders. And we had a couple.
But you guys didn't have to do anything. You just had to witness my pain.
We did. It was entertaining. I mean, to watch, but I'm sure not to go through it.
Were you on 2 weeks ago when that guy was insisting that Deputy Richardson was a woman?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was a fun one. At one point he said, I know it was a woman that gave me my ticket. So unless this deputy was wearing women's clothes on that day. And I said, oh, he was wearing women's clothes. And the guy said, what? I said, well, the uniform for a female deputy and the male deputy are the same.
The same.
Right.
So on that day, he definitely was wearing a uniform of a female Washtenaw County Sheriff's deputy. City of Milan versus Raymond Huff, 22I000123. Oh, I need the stuff from my box for that. So I never got the police report on this one.
I sent you the police report.
You did, okay. I'm getting the stuff out of my box. Were you able to find your witness, Officer Hillman?
Yes, Your Honor, he's on. Mr. Kevin Smith is on today.
Okay, great. I'm getting the stuff out of my box and then we'll swear everybody in and hopefully finish this today. Okay, this is, I've already called it. Could everybody please, everyone who's going to testify, raise your right hand. Mr. Huff, is your hand raised?
Yes,
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth.
yes, I do.
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, Officer Drummond, why don't you go ahead and have Mr. Smith testify and we'll start there.
Yes, Your Honor.
So do I
Kevin,
start?
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't remember what day it was, but I was heading westbound on West Main Street, and the defendant was trying to pull into the parking lots that were right in front of the post office. He was driving a white van, and he sideswiped the front driver's side corner of the victim's vehicle. And when he first hit it, he stopped, went to back up, and started moving forward again. And he thought he was going to miss it, but he didn't. And the bumper of the passenger side back of the van caught the front bumper of the victim and basically ripped the bumper off the victim's car on the driver's side. The defendant parked his van. I parked in front of him because I was right behind him when he hit it. I parked in front of him, watched him on my rear view mirror, get out of his van, assess the damage to the victim's car and to his van, walked into the post office. I followed him into the post office because I thought it might have been a worker from the post office. And I saw a gentleman leave, of whom was a victim. I saw him look at the damage. I assumed that was his car. I walked out there, informed him that the gentleman that was driving the minivan sideswiped you.
Minivan or a minivan or a full-size van?
A full-size van, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you could tell that on the passenger side back corner of the van, it was white. You could see the paint from the victim's car around the wheel well area of the van.
Okay, so when you witnessed this, you had been driving, did you have to, why did you stop and watch the events?
Just in case if the situation happened that he didn't tell the victim.
But, okay, I understand that part, but you saw quite a bit of the parking also. So what made you stop and watch Mr. Huff park?
Because personally, I had been into an accident about a year ago.
Okay, you're not answering my question. So most people, when they're driving, they don't stop their car to watch other people parallel park. Why did you stop and watch this?
Because I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought if you witness an accident,
I'm
you stay
asking,
at,
okay, so you're driving and you see the accident while you're still driving. Is that
yeah, I was
right?
right behind him. Yes.
Okay, so did you, sometimes when people are parallel parking, they're interfering with the flow of travel. Is that why you did not continue driving?
No, I was right behind him. He was not parallel parking. He pulled into the spot. I
Okay,
saw the whole thing.
okay, so you did not, all right, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay. Okay.
So it happened right in front of you,
Yes.
and you did not continue driving because of what you saw.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, Officer Doman, anything you want to add?
Your Honor, I do have a couple pictures here pulled up of the accident when I responded on how the vehicle had looked. If I'm able to share my screen with you.
Please try.
Okay. Your Honor, this picture here, I had circled the damage, what I witnessed from the van when I responded.
Okay,
If you can see, can you see my screen okay?
I can, thank you.
You're welcome. There's a little bit of paint exchange here along with some side swipe damage.
Okay.
And then I will show you the other car here with the same paint exchange from that vehicle here, the same side swipe damage. The two spots had matched. So this is what I had saw when I arrived on scene.
Okay. Anything else?
Your Honor, I think that's all I have.
Okay. All right, Mr. Huff. So I have received the police report and the photographs that you've provided. I've heard Officer Doman's testimony and looked at her photographs. We heard the witness, Mr. Smith, his testimony that he saw this whole thing. So what would you like to add?
Well, Your Honor, did he hear or was there any banging or a loud noise?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. Did you hear anything, Mr. Smith?
I did not hear anything,
Okay.
but I physically saw the bumper hooked onto his wheel well and watched it get ripped off.
Okay.
Well, then there should have been damage on my vehicle as well. And there was
Well,
no
not
damage on my-
necessarily, not necessarily. I mean, I don't, this is not a physics lecture or a
Right.
crash investigation program. Okay. So we're not
Yes.
going to try to do that.
Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Huff?
Yes. Oh, well, there's no damage to my vehicle, and I was pulling in. There was a white car in front of me that took off, and I pulled in right behind him, and that's where I was being parked in front of the post office. And so, I mean, I don't understand. When I got out of the car, I went directly into the post office. I did not stop and assess any damages.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, I don't understand why I received a ticket. I didn't do anything.
Well, I know that you're confused about this, and that's why this is the third time that we've been here together. But the ticket was issued to you based primarily, I think, on Mr. Smith's testimony. And then when Officer Doman went out to the scene and took her photographs, she found that his testimony was supported by the evidence that she saw at that moment. So the burden of, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that there's no damage to my vehicle at all.
Okay.
There's nothing.
That's not how we decide whether or not a ticket was properly issued.
Right.
So
I understand.
the burden of proving that the ticket is properly issued is on the municipality that issued the ticket. So today, that is the city of Milan through Officer Doman's testimony. And as you know, I've also looked at photographs from both the police and yourself. I've read the police report. We heard the witness's testimony. All of that is the municipality's case. for why this ticket was properly issued to you. And then, of course, I've heard your testimony to a greater or lesser degree 3 times. So the burden is what's called a preponderance of the evidence. It's an extremely low burden of proof. And what it basically means is that if it is more likely than not that the ticket was properly issued, even if that's just like 51% compared to 49%, then I can and should find the person responsible. So I believe that we have beaten this dead horse fully now. And I find that the city of Milan has met its burden of proving that the ticket was properly issued. Therefore, I am finding you responsible for the ticket, Mr. Huff. The fine is $120. It will go on your driving record, and the Secretary of State will issue points as appropriate. There are a couple of choices you have now. You have it looks like you might be eligible to do an online driver improvement course through the Secretary of State. So pay attention to your mail to see if you're eligible for that. You also have the right to file an appeal and have Judge Freshour hear this case. If you'd like to file an appeal, it's $100, and you have to pay the $120 fine within 7 days. Otherwise, the fine is due within 10 days. Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry?
You didn't hear any of that? Someone's got their mic
No,
on.
I heard.
Okay. So do you have any questions?
I'm to pay $120 within 10 days?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your time, sir. You're all set. Thank you for appearing,
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Mr. Saab Harwal, you were late, but the police officer was not here. So I will dismiss your case and you can get your bond back. Okay, so what is that? That delay and that background thing is going to bug me.
Sorry about that. I had to get the link. I had the link to get. I can.
Okay,
hear
Mr.
you,
Saab. Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you cutting off in and out? Hello?
Yes, hello. Okay, Mr. Saberwal, your ticket is dismissed.
Hello?
What? Okay.
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, actually, you're cutting off.
Your ticket is
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really thank you so much. Thank you so much.
all right, you're welcome.
Hello? Hello?
You're all set. Just hang up, please.
Hello?
Hang up.
Screen is frozen or something. I am not able.
York Township versus Catherine Wagner, 22W00206. Good morning. Could you state your name, please?
Catherine Wagner.
Deputy Richardson, anything on this one?
I am pulling it.
This was a disobeying traffic control devices in a construction zone.
Double parking.
Okay, so you're here today.
All the construction zone would be offered double parking.
Okay, thank you. So you're being your ticket is for disobeying traffic control devices in the construction zone. That's $155 and 2 points on your driving record. You're being offered a chance to admit responsibility for double parking, which is $180 and no driver's license penalties. So you can do that, admit to double parking, or we can have a hearing on the actual citation.
I'll admit to the double parking.
Okay, defendant has admitted responsibility for double parking. The ticket is amended to double parking. Fines and court costs are $180. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, you are all set then. Thank you. 10
Thank
days
you.
to pay. York Township versus Andrew Darwin, 22W002003. Good morning. Could you state your name?
Andrew Darwin.
Mr. Darwin, you're here on a ticket for disobeying a traffic control device in a construction zone. The ticket was issued April 20th, 2022. You are being offered an opportunity
What
to
the fuck?
admit.
Who's this asshole?
Okay, hey, this is a court hearing, Mr. DeMason.
Oh, excuse me. I'm
I
sorry.
can hear you swearing. So why don't you turn your microphone off?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I didn't realize I was on mic.
Turn your mic off.
Yes.
Today is super hard. Zoom is super hard today. All right, let's try again, Mr. Darwin. You can admit responsibility for double parking if you would like. Double parking is $180 in fines and court costs. There are no driver's license penalties that will not be reported to the Secretary of State. Or we can have a hearing on the disobeying of the traffic control device. What would you like to do?
Well, I mean, I was going on the road that was not closed, so I would like to fight the ticket.
All right, could you raise your right hand?
I'm raising my right hand.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Deputy Richardson. Deputy Richardson will testify first and tell me why he wrote you the ticket. Then you can tell me whatever it is you want me to know. When you're ready, Deputy Richardson, go ahead.
On April 20th, 2022, I was working York Township in Washington County, Michigan. I was in the area of Platte Road and Willow Road doing traffic enforcement as there's a construction zone there, and southbound Platte at Stony Creek is closed. I had stopped numerous vehicles within this construction zone for disobeying the traffic control device. On that date, I stopped Mr. Darwin as he traveled southbound Platte Road from Stony Creek Road to Willow Road, and he disobeyed the road closed sign, driving a 2002 Toyota Camry, silver in color. I do have a couple photographs that I'm going to share that show the road closed here.
Great, thank you.
How do I do that? Can I? Share content, okay. Screen. So this is going to be the road closure sign at southbound Platte at Stony Creek Road. And the reason why I issued these citations is because it's blocking that southbound lane. It is not blocking the traffic that's flowing northbound, but I only cited folks who were traveling southbound. I'm also going to show, this is from the Road Commission. It actually shows how much different signage they put out throughout the area. They had closures on Moon Road and Stony Creek, but this diagram here is just for Stony Creek here, and it shows how much signage they pretty much put out.
So all of those little sort of rounded squares, I guess it's a square with a circle around it, maybe it's hard to see. Those are all signs And then that chart indicates what the sign is for.
Correct. Yep. So that provides some notifications. And I'm also going to go right back to this photo log here. This is southbound plat at Willow Road. We're at construction equipment out. This is a little bit harder to see, but it has barricades here on Willow and Platt. It's just showing different signage of how the road is closed in certain places.
Okay.
And I had a couple more I'm going to scroll to. So this is southbound Platt at Bagol, just north of Stony Creek, where it's showing that it's roads are closed and showing detour signs. Let's get to this one here. This one right here is actually at southbound Platt and Stony Creek, where it shows detour that the road is closed there and they should be turning right or left pretty much.
Okay.
That's all I'll publish at this time unless you have any other.
All right. And these signs were, some of your tickets are dated April 20th and some look like they were maybe dated April 23rd, but all these signs that you've shown me today were in place on April 20th at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, so, and what I do is actually every day I actually drive the route to make sure that the signs are still in place, maybe due to weather, or sometimes people are maybe moving the signs, but every day that I issued my citations, all the barricades were in place, especially this one had not moved at all.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Darwin.
Okay, this is the route I traveled to bring my daughters back and forth to school, and I was fully aware of the construction that was going on. And I know that Platt Road was closed at Willow, and the route is Willow Road at southbound Platt. I'm not the only one who was pulled over there. At that immediate time, there was 3 other vehicles behind me. I travel this route and have traveled this route since and before that. Willow Road was not closed. There was no construction on southbound Platt at that south of Stony Creek. The construction was at and closed at Willow and southbound Stony or Platt Road. I was traveling the speed limit. I was coming home from work to pick up my daughters, and
so I think what you're trying to tell me is that you were not actually, okay, just one moment, please.
Pulled over multiple vehicles throughout, the last month. I really feel like this is happening.
I think what you're trying to tell me is that you were not, in your opinion, you were not within the construction zone.
That's correct, ma'am. I've worked with the county before, and I know what the county does, the road commission.
Okay.
I've worked hand in hand with them.
I need a better, I need you to, okay, hold on one second, sir. Okay, so Deputy Richardson, Platt and Willow. Where was Mr. Darwin's vehicle when you gave him the ticket?
He was, I stopped him at Platt and Willow. So he had to travel. The issue is you have to drive around the barricades to travel southbound.
Right. Okay, so what do you have to say about that, Mr. Darwin?
Well, I did drive around the barricade, yes.
Okay. Why are we having this conversation then if you drove around the barricade to the part of the road that was closed? What is your defense?
Well, the road wasn't closed. There was all multiple vehicles driving on the road.
So your defense is the everyone else was doing it defense?
No.
What is your defense?
I wasn't doing anything. My defense is I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I feel like I was entrapped. And
why did you drive around the barricade? Why did you drive around the barricade that said that the road was closed?
In the area that I was.
Say one more time. You got broken up a little.
I knew the construction in the area that I was going to be traversing it.
Did you drive around a sign that said that the road was closed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when the road is closed, that means you can't drive there. I don't know why you can't understand that. Like, that is super straightforward.
Well, this is the cameras up there and seeing all the traffic that continues to drive down that road every
And
day.
Deputy Richardson is here today on multiple tickets. Plus, there's people that get the ticket and just pay it.
Yeah, I
So,
understand. I know,
okay.
it's entrapment too. It is.
It's what?
It's entrapment and it's filling a quota. That's what it's doing.
You know what? You don't understand what entrapment means. Entrapment is when the police do something that gets another person to behave in a way that they would not ordinarily behave. You drove around a traffic barrier of your own free will and got a ticket for doing something that violates the law. That is in no way entrapment.
Okay.
I'm finding you responsible. The fine is $155. You have 10 days to pay that. You also have the right to file an appeal if you'd like Judge Frushauer to hear your case. You have 7 days to file the appeal. You need to call the court if you want to do that, and the clerks will let you know how to do it. Any questions, sir?
Nope, not a one.
Okay, you're all set then. Thank you. Okay, I think those are the only construction ones we had for today. So now we're back to speeding tickets. York Township versus Alexa Wright, 22W001840.
And yeah,
State your name, please.
Alexa Wright.
You're here today on a limited access speeding ticket, 1 to 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. The fine for that is $120. There are no driver's license penalties. It will be reported to the Secretary of State, but there's no points for a limited access 1 to 5. So you can admit responsibility or we can have a hearing. I'm sorry, what?
I'd like to have.
You'd like a hearing? Is that what you're saying? You keep breaking up.
Yes.
Hey, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, Deputy Richardson, go ahead.
On April 12, 2022, I was in the area of southbound US 23 and Willow Road. I was in that area specifically doing speed enforcement. On that date, I tracked a vehicle, a 2017 Chevrolet Equinox, white in color. It was traveling southbound US 23 in the left lane. I took 2 speed measurements, one at 90 miles an hour and the second at 87 miles an hour. The second measurement was at 389.9 feet. I made contact with the listed driver to the right and issued her a citation for limited access speeding for 1 to 5 miles over. I am trained in the use of the LiDAR. I've been trained for years. I tested at the beginning of my shift. I used it well within this operational range. I obtained a vehicle speed measurement by pointing at the front bumper of the vehicle, and I had no error readings.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Miss Wright.
So I was in fact speeding. I was going exactly what he said. I have no issues with the speed that he determined. But I was getting off of the exit ramp. I was trying to get over. That's the reason why I was speeding. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I realized that my blood sugar was dropping. And I didn't actively see anything in my passenger seat that I could have sugar-wise or that I could reach. So I got off at the Milan exit and was trying to get to the gas station on the left to get a pop or cookie or something and to check my blood sugar because it's not safe to do while driving. When I pulled into the gas station parking lot, the officer pulled me over and I was on the phone in the process of dialing 911 because I believed I needed an ambulance at the time due to my blood sugar dropping. I have a photo of the 911.
Okay, I understand this was a bad situation for you, but I don't know why you're telling me this.
I just didn't believe I deserved the ticket for an emergency.
No, you got the ticket for speeding. And you've admitted that you were speeding.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you got the ticket. And this is not about your emergency. I know that it feels that way to you, but that's not what this is.
Okay.
All right, so I'm finding you responsible. The fine is $120. You have 10 days to pay. Thank you. York Township versus George Duxey, 22W001880. What do you think that background noise is? Let me just tell you. If you're not Mr. Duxey or Deputy Richardson or me, please turn your microphone off. There's a lot of background information. Yeah, Cody Fuller, mic off. Off. Turn your microphone off, Mr. Fuller. Okay.